Bananas are the most humane fruit in the world. It doesn't need to be washed before eating. Peeling does not require tools. The juice won't spill. What's outrageous is that it's considered a fruit. I couldn't find any reproductive seeds. Why is a banana considered a berry? Why can berries be a staple food? Let's learn about gingerwood and banana shells together today. In the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia, a plant called small-fruited wild pepper grows there. As a typical 8 kilograms plant, its height can reach 4 meters, although it looks like a tree. But it is a typical herbaceous plant, unlike the bamboo and brown aluminum we talked about before. Bamboo palm aluminum cloth is a type of grass-based lining. Woody plants as the body. Like grass, it grows thick first and then tall. The material is still wood, forging a distinctive path of herbal medicine. The banana plant, on the other hand, is a pure herbaceous plant. It looks like a tree trunk structure. It is made up of layers of leaf sheaths. To put it simply, you can think of it as a giant onion, because it is a herbaceous plant. Therefore, banana trees are not very strong. Even Stamford Bridge could be monopolized by traditional bare-handed methods. The small-fruited wild pepper also flowers and bears fruit. As a banana peel, he has a very big tidbit. Pay close attention. What's the beginning of the behind-the-scenes footage? There is a very pretty object that looks like a flower bud. After his package was opened, then a ring of real flowers will be revealed. Then the flower axis will be extended. The top panel will open up and create another ring of flowers. What happens after pollination? Magnetization on the boutonniere axis? It will develop into many fruits. It looks very gorgeous overall. Its fruit looks like this. It's no more than 10 centimeters tall. In his pulp, dozens of seeds, each about 5 millimeters in size, are distributed among them. Think about it carefully. When the small wild pepper fruit, the meat is cooked until tender enough. Soft pulp with seeds scattered throughout. This fruit structure? Like grape tomatoes. It is indeed a nut. Birds, coconut cats, and other animals can eat their fruit flesh. By the way, pull out the seeds of the small-fruited wild pepper to spread them quickly. These small amounts of fruit pulp. For people, it's just about accumulation. But on an island, the fate of the wild peppercorn changed. This is something I really like and yearn for, but a place that has never been introduced. That is New Guinea. On the surface, New Guinea. It is just located in a corner of Southeast Asia. It's only the world's second largest island. From an ecological perspective, what kind of feeling does it give people? It's just a replica of the rainforest islands of Southeast Asia. But on this magical land, there are many species that are beyond our conventional understanding. For example, a gargoyle with a carved wallaby, copper-colored glazed purple were rats, and the like are only found in Australia. Only then did the species of animals exist. There are also adorable devil's hairy mice, kufu, and other true mammals. Of course, plant domestication is inseparable from humans. Mentioning South Pacific Islands, people might think of the Austronesians from before. But what about the South Islanders? And seafaring only began 5,000 years ago. What about the indigenous Papuans on the island of New Guinea? They were among the first people to leave Africa. They arrived in New Guinea 50,000 years ago. This isn't because they were particularly skilled at navigation. It was because it was during the Ice Age. Sea level drop. Now, we see these tiny Malay archipelagos. Back then, it was still connected to the Indochina Peninsula. It is a continent. New Guinea is connected to Australia. All are part of the Sahara continental shelf. This is why there are elephants in Prokhorovsk. The reason why there are kangaroos in New Guinea. Because it is connected to other continents. 50,000 years ago, other humans on Earth. Almost all of them died. The map is full of high-level resources that no one is fighting over. So they followed the warm coastline, eating seafood. These aspects of shellfish have opened up a little cotton-padded jacket. first occupy the Asian continent. It foretells that the coastline will reach New Zealand and Australia. In the early days, she was naturally dark-skinned. But they're not black, they should be called people of the brown race. Pay close attention. Their brow ridges are high, square nose, and wide mouth.
Wide jaw.
Curly hair, thick hair. You can hardly imagine it. Black people have long beards, at most they have sideburns. Brown people, on the other hand, can have very long beards, although their lives are very simple and comfortable. But what about human development? This was done under pressure. On the mainland,
Zhongsheng's race,
replaced by other races of the later developing sons, or perhaps be mixed race. For example, the Dalupi people, an indigenous group in southern India. Their skin is very dark. It's a mixture, results of more brown race genes. There are still some. It is in the forest of interpersonal children. For example, the blind people of peninsular Malaysia. Meanwhile, many more people of brown race are protected by climate protection. With the arrival of oxygen spoon heating, the Earth's climate is getting warmer. Humanity entered the agricultural era. Meanwhile, some low-altitude areas were submerged by seawater. It became an isolated island. In a closed environment, resources have become extremely scarce. It even reached the point where people resorted to cannibalism. What is the level of civilization? Reverse back. For example, Andaman people in the Andaman Islands of southern India. His body size has become shorter. What about Yuan Long Min from Australia? They simply forgot about archery techniques. And the indigenous people of the New World. This made use of the giant island, relatively abundant resources and species characteristics. For example, the sago palm we discussed earlier at Zhong Lake. They would split open the heartwood, obtain the starch inside. Sago pudding originated from this. As for bananas, they didn't choose to eat the fruit from the chicken. Because of banana trees, not only does it look like an onion and a booster, even underground, there are onion-like imprisonments. In his heart and imprisonment, it stores a large amount of reserve hidden energy starch. It was precisely because of Xiaoguo's name that she imprisoned the heartbroken flower. Nishitani Yako, sugarcane, taro, and other foods. What about the new generations? 7,000 years ago, a unique plateau wetland agricultural system has been established, and it has become one of the 13 global agricultural enterprise centers, the only one distributed in Oceania.
2.
The Zhongxing people are the only ones to have domesticated important crops. During the process of puppies mating in the wild, some triploid images appeared. The first letter of his Latin name is A. So, let's classify the puppy as a triploid as well,
Called AA type.
3 is a mechanical lock. This prevents the little wild pepper from reproducing. Naturally, there are no seeds. The abundant pulp of the wild peppercorn becomes edible. It has become a kind of fruit. Thus, the first banana to be produced was born, since the seed cannot be solved. How then do bananas reproduce? We previously discussed how bananas have a captive effect. Crops that can be imprisoned are often quite good at it. Sprouts of various small buds. So all you need to do is quickly gather the banana sprouts. Asexual reproduction can then take place. 3,000 years ago, the South Islanders also arrived in West Virginia. They are not only skilled at navigation. Preserving the tissue resources of crops is also a unique skill. For example, rice, coconuts, and other items were taken by them to all parts of the world. And the bananas were also brought onto the boat by them. Heading west, they arrived in Madagascar 2,500 years ago. 1,000 years ago. What about the Bantu people in East Africa? They also arrived in Madagascar. What about their relationship with the Austronesians? Gene exchange also occurred. The Merlina people and other races were formed. So we see many residents of Madagascar. Does it have characteristics of people of Asian descent? It also has the characteristics of black people.
Compared to
You're involved in exchanges between Madagascar and Africa. They were introduced to the vicinity of the Great Hunting Valley in East Africa. Great Lakes region. Here it is. Bananas have been cultivated into an important crop. East African Highland Bananas. The locals call it nematok. Look, here's one in my hand. It's the East African Highland Banana. It is very hard and thick. The epidermis contains many coarse fibers, very difficult to peel. The flesh is very hard when eaten raw, less sweet and sour, low in moisture but high in starch. These types of bananas are no longer considered fruit. Instead, it became a staple food. It also needs to be steamed or boiled before eating. After crushing, place it on banana leaves. Add some side dishes when making the original soup. It's definitely better than pizza. Tienbu Shimwang Odibio, Africa. Nobody pulls bananas. In countries such as Uganda, Ningxia, and Burundi, bananas are one of the most important staple foods, especially Uganda. On average, each person eats 0.7 kilograms of bananas per day, besides being a staple food. Bananas from the East African highlands can also be roasted and eaten like sweet potatoes. Or you can eat it like beef stew with potatoes. There are even specific types of beer used for brewing, as a species that is already distributed in Asia. What happens to the wild peppercorns after they've been smoked? It also easily spread to Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent.
It's here.
He encountered another banana plant, wild pepper. Furthermore, it hybridized with wild pepper. The first letter of the Latin name for wild pepper is B. He hybridized with small-fruited wild pepper to obtain a triploid organism. Some are of type A and B. Some are of type ABB. Mix with wild peppers, eggs, and bananas. It usually doesn't taste better, but wild pepper itself has a durable skin. It also grows in southern China. These cultivars have expanded the scope of banana cultivation. The flesh of many varieties of fruit is rich in starch. They are generally referred to as bell peppers or chili peppers. They also eat bananas in West Africa, but what they eat is chili peppers. Also, tropical regions of Asia and the Rami region. Bananas to eat. Also a bell pepper. They will be cooked and eaten like vegetables. For example, fried bananas in Southeast Asia. Nigerian roasted bananas include ingredients from the Blue Sea region. After crushing the unripe bell peppers, add some pork, vegetables and spices, etc. Make it into a style similar to a button ear. Bell peppers can also be sliced thinly and deep fried. Sprinkle some salt and seasoning to make potato chips. Some areas of Nigeria. Why not just dry the peppers, grind them into powder, and make bread? We eat a lot of banana chips. It is also made with bell peppers, although they're all called chili peppers. But their genes are still quite different. Like West Africa, Latin America often involves hybridization of types. Asian? This means that there are both AAB type and ABB type. For example, let's call the soft crust pizza Wangjiao for now. It has yellow flesh and a sweet and sour taste. It is of type AAB. And the Philippines. Sabah bananas from Malaysia. It is of type ABB. There are also similar chubby bananas in China. It's called powder glue. It is also of type ABB. And some powder glue from Yunnan region. It's possible it's a BB type. That is, the triploid offspring of wild pepper. Participate in wild pepper, egg, and banana dishes. Often harder and more durable. More suitable for cooked food. What if you eat it like fruit? It has to be xiaogua, also known as a pure-blooded descendant. Some are type A, because it is diploid. Therefore, they are much smaller. It will be called finger banana or egg glue. It's very common in Southeast Asia. It's almost the standard for fruit like a banana. I spent 13 RMB to buy a string of something. It tastes very soft and sweet. After being introduced to China, it was often called emperor glue. It's also in our supermarket. The most common special banana. Currently, domestic stores are also cultivating the industry sectors. For example, the the type of dried sea pepper. Speaking of the most mainstream fresh bananas on the market, it has to be in AAA type kid, also known as triploid offspring. More than 100 years ago, the world's most popular real banana, Big Mac bananas, are a must. He officially debuted in the Yabin family in the early 19th century, although in our impression, Jamaica seems to be in Africa, but it's actually in the Caribbean Sea off North America. Temperatures are relatively low in North America. Therefore, it is not suitable for growing bananas. This has led to very high prices for bananas in the area. Big Mac bananas have a rich aroma because its inside contains higher levels of ethylene acetate. It is also a major component of banana flavoring. Otherwise, can it be called a banana? Moreover, its peel is very thick, easy to store and transport. So, Big Mac bananas. It became the most popular type of banana at the time. However, as a triploid banana that relies on asexual reproduction, Big Mac's genes are very simple. A type of fungus called pan-fried berry mushroom, Cuban brick-shaped fungi, yellow leaf disease that can cause large mac. It will cause banana leaves to turn yellow. Finally, the whole plant withered and died. And he can get through the soil, rainwater, and farmland spread. In the 1950s, this led to the near extinction of the giant Mac banana. Currently, only some plantations in Thailand survived. And then what? Another type of banana is due to its resistance to yellow leaf disease. It has become the most mainstream way to pair bananas with food in modern times. That's huajiao wild rubber. Tooth crushing, tooth carving, Cavendish stone glue. Here is something I need to explain. Sichuan pepper is a cultivated group of triploid bananas. There are also different varieties below. It's not just one variety. However, the different varieties of Sichuan pepper look very similar. It's just that I don't like others. Triploid bananas. There are also some varieties with very unique appearances. For example, red-skinned bananas. The flesh is quite sweet when it ripens, and the texture is very smooth, like steamed egg custard. I recommend everyone to try it. As a well-known fruit, production is still one of the 5 permanent members. The banana peel attached to the banana,
but it's a very small shell.
Previously, we introduced grape shells. There are at least several hundred kinds, but the banana peel is pitifully small. There are fewer than 100 kinds. Now, the most familiar thing to us is bananas. In ancient times, the person most familiar to people is section sheath banana. Why were banana trees so well known to the ancients? The main thing is that the banana leaves are very beautiful, and most areas, giant leaves that are rarely seen. Therefore, it has become a very popular cultivated crop. A fan made of banana leaves coated with rattan. It can even restrain Erlang Shun. It truly makes me happy. Banana also misremembered many of the ancient people's interests. Listening to the rain pattering on the banana leaves. The saying goes that there is both enmity and no enmity. Banana leaves also appear in many song lyrics nowadays. For example, the banana trees outside the window arouse lust. Then all that's left is for the rain to soak the fields. As one of the representatives of the Jiangnan style, banana leaves also have many practical uses, as mentioned earlier. Although the banana tree plant looks robust and tall, however, it doesn't have the woody texture of a tree. What about its main body? Actually, it is made of leaf sheath, upright gold-plated pole formed by wrapping the ground, in order to support its enormous weight. At the same time, it also protects against coastal storms. What kind of plant is the banana tree? The leaf sheath is lined with thick bast fibers. These fibroblasts, ligation via apical insertion. It was twisted into an extremely tough fiber tree. Firmly anchor yourself to the earth. Boil its leaf husks in water. After degumming, you can obtain Sichuan pepper fiber. Whether it's a banana or Sichuan peppercorn, they were all used as textile materials. What are the relevant handling methods? In a house during the Eastern Han Dynasty, There are records of banana leaves as large as a courtyard mat. Wonderland, like jade. If one takes the goods and the master does so, then this is how it is. It is possible to emulate the worship of the female deity in Musaceae. Then it is now giazage, the hardened outer leaf sheath of a banana plant. It contains the most hard fibers found in coconut shells. The soft inner core leaf sheath is similar to cotton. Textile materials in parallel hemp and kudzu. Fine adhesive tape woven from hemp fiber. Not only absorbent and breathable, moreover, it is lightweight, soft, and not easily wrinkled. It is the best companion for hot summer days. By G. also published a light review of the silk mouse husband. Although now, adhesive tape in China. These places where you can leave the ball are almost impossible to find. But in the Philippines, there is also a type of Manila pepper. It remains the main material for making traditional clothing. These Sichuan peppercorns under an electron microscope. The fiber not only has strong light transmittance, lead content is higher, and its surface is smooth. There are also relatively few cracks. At this point, he was able to manufacture cranes with even greater strength. Rope dynamics.
Besides,
The type that grows by the sea is different from traditional cotton. Materials such as hemp and ramie are more resistant to seawater corrosion. Therefore, it can also be used to create infectious agents. Fishing nets and other marine equipment, like the ropes used to tie lifeboats in Britain. It is made with Sichuan peppercorns. Since the Musaceae family is characterized by its exceptionally large fiber content. Have you ever wondered about this? What is the world's largest banana? Monster spawning in Bajak, New Guinea. In the tropical 3 regions of Alfac 3, the world's largest banana plant lives there. Highland giant banana. As the leader of the Bajak sect, its trunk, made of leaf sheaths, can reach a height of 15 meters. With the blades, it can reach a height of 25 meters. That is, the height of nearly 9 stories. His waistline was much thicker than Liangzi's. It is the world's largest herbaceous plant. There is none. Its enormous size and banana-like appearance blend together. The person was standing next to him. It gives you a magical feeling of another world. They can also come into contact with fruits similar to bananas. One seed can grow up to 30 centimeters long. One bite is not enough, although it's not exaggerated compared to her size. But it's also a strangely large banana. There are only 3 rats on the banana leaf. The vast majority of them were banana rats that have been picked up from trees. And his second rat. There are only 8 species of elephant-legged rats. Since it's not a rat, it is definitely different from a banana leaf. First, his fake mirror is somewhat inflated, similar to an elephant's leg. Africa. A type of thick-stemmed elephant leg glue has been domesticated and cultivated. Jia Jing and the prisoner in the well. It contains abundant starch that can be ground and extracted. After fermentation, it can be used to make pancakes or porridge. Burnt leaves were used as plates. Raw chlorite. It really does taste better than pizza. Long leaves can be used to cover roofs. Make mattresses, weave them into baskets and bags. Secondly, there are its behind-the-scenes stories. The pieces are very tightly packed together. The fruits of the end are also very closely intertwined, because its fruit is short and round. The flower clusters covered with fruit. It looks like a huge lump of something squeezed into a hand grenade. These round fruits, the flesh that rotates is also edible. It just contains enormous seeds. I wonder about everyone. Did you notice the layers upon layers of his behind-the-scenes footage? It looks like a bunch of lotus flowers strung together. It has a strong Buddhist feel. Actually, Buddhist martial arts are about greenery. There is a plant in the Musaceae family. It is the golden lotus that springs forth from the ground. There's a saying flowers fall from the sky, golden lotuses spring forth from the ground. Black myth Wukong. There's also this little guy who's always throwing eggs and causing trouble. It's called the golden lotus emerging from the ground. The golden lotus that springs from the ground. That's definitely what it looks like. A large golden lotus grew on the pillar. I believe everyone has learned the knowledge from the previous lessons. You can definitely tell the difference between the lotus flower and the mud. It's actually just a huge side story. The bananas are just too thin and too long, hanging down like rice. The golden lotus that springs from the ground is short and thick, growing upright. These petals aren't actually petals, but rather veils, real flowers. It's these yellow parts around the patch. Its flowers don't bloom all at once. Instead, it opens in an orderly manner. Open first, then break, then open again. It can bloom for more than 200 days at a time. Even during dormancy, the decorative film has always existed, until it withered and died a few years later. But don't worry. What about its surface portion? It will continue to sprout new buds. On average, each seedling can produce 12 shoots, the most ornamental plants. The golden lotus that springs from the ground also has special variants. Buddha's wrathful red lotus, not a red envelope. The slices of the golden lotus flower are red. Its potential is much weaker. In normal years, a single plant only grows 2 new buds. Therefore, they have become extremely rare in the wild. Musaceae family. Although the number of species is not as great as that of the heroes of Liangshan. However, the Musaceae family in a broad sense is a typical example of a family that combines elements. It consists of 4 chivalrous departments. What about the other 3 subjects? One is He Wanglink, originally from Africa. The most unfortunate origins are only a dozen or so species. Among them, the crane king, the blue mouse, and the lamppost looked persistent. It seems to be no different from a banana leaf. But after seeing his flowers, then you'll understand why he's called Crane King Blue. What about this part that looks like a crane's beak? Actually, the behind-the-scenes footage of the swallow's nest wrapper. And what about the crane's crest? It consists of 3 evil pieces and 3 flower petals. What about the 2 bottom petals? They merged together. It formed a shutdown bottle. When birds want to get their favorite food, when they're drinking honey water, they will stand on the petals. Apply downward pressure to the petals. The petals will then open. The pollen inside was exposed. The birds pollinated them at the same time. To prevent self-pollination, crane-like flowers typically bloom only 1 flower at a time. The fruit of their end was no longer bananas. Instead, it is a cracked fruit, like bean sprouts divided into 3 parts. Looking at it this way, it's easy to understand why he's not a banana tree. Besides the small genus Huanglink also has a lot of teachers. This is a type of plant that is unforgettable. In some southern cities of my country, you might see them with ornamental crops. However, most landscaping agencies are very small in size. As an international symbol of Madagascar, Luanjiao can grow up to 30 meters tall. A single leaf arranged in a race pattern can reach a length of 11 meters. They don't take shortcuts like bananas. Short lifespan. Its stalk can grow upwards little by little. Old leaves will remain at their original height and gradually wither and die. The mirror will show traces of withered leaves and leaf marks. From this perspective, he's more like a palm tree. I can't believe this plant. If it originated in China, how much praise from Old English should he receive? Because of the base of its petiole.
They are closely intertwined.
Between the 2 petioles, it can form a water storage space. A single tree can quench a traveler's thirst. You can just pierce one to quench your thirst. That's why it's called traveler's glue. Some people say that this statement is incorrect. He has that name because of his fickleness. It must be facing north or south. It can serve as a compass for debuting, hence the name. As for whether to go left or right after seeing it, then you'll have to rely on your own intuition. Where there's a crane's head, there's a crab's tail. You've definitely seen these flowers in the botanical garden. It belongs to the family Ceratophyllum, native to the Americas. There are nearly 200 species. Their behind-the-scenes moments will be on the left and right, growing on the left and right. But overall, it still cannot grow forward. This part where the flower begins. Just a protective sheath for the flower. The flowers are hidden inside the package, although it's just a package. But those patches are rich in wax, extending the beauty. It still has a high degree of visual appeal. Some held up high. For example, the firebird's oblique tail. Some of them droop downwards, like a string of firecrackers. Some of the behind-the-scenes footage is very closely spaced. For example, steak with diagonal peppers. But I think it looks more like a cow's tongue. As for the remaining roots and trunks after traditional banana husks, it's called orchid shell, and underneath it there's only one tree. In our country, mainly distributed in the coastal areas of the south. Where are his flowers? It evolved into a distinct pure-petaled form similar to orchids. Hence the name orchid pepper, although it has a pretentious appearance. But actually, where are his flowers? Purplish-brown appearance, and the tangy and refreshing taste of pork ribs. It has been exposed. He was actually also a mosquito magnet, like the Malaysian enchantress orchid gel. It may even smell like feces, attracting dung beetles to help him pollinate. There are also people. He and the beauty will be engraved with orchids. Beauty glue confusion. But it's a fake. They're not even from the same tribe. That was also ginger powder. And its leaves look a lot like banana leaves. It's easy to get it wrong. In addition, there are only a dozen or so species of small trees. Let's talk about canna lilies together. Just look at its flowers. You can tell that it's definitely not a banana plant. The structure of his flowers still deceives many people. Scorpion tail glue is a coating that reinforces the outer edge of the petals. Beauty glue, on the other hand, is quite the opposite. What about the part that looks like flower petals? Actually, it was a planned degeneration of Xiong Rue. As for the outer packaging, piece of ephemeral piece. This turned into some minor twists and turns around Xiong Rue's life. As for the fruits of the end, it looks a lot like a spiky ball. It will crack when it matures. It contains many round, hard seeds. How hard are these seeds? They could even be stuffed into modern-day rifles, launched and pierced the wooden plank. They are arguably the most formidable seed. Because these seeds are very consistent in weight. It was also used as a fama by a bunch of smokers, the residents of the mudflats. Then put it in a reed tube. It was made into a musical instrument called kaliangba. Besides that, beauty glue also has a very practical use. This application isn't limited to the Americas. Many people like crops that grow starch lumps underground, and the beauty gel quickly cleans. There is also a large amount of starch, also known as jiaoyu. Wild game farming exists in the country. Persimmons can also be used as a substitute for lotus root. Therefore, it is also called dry lotus root, besides being used as a life-saving food in times of emergency. The starch inside can also be washed out and made into jelly, vermicelli, etc. It can be described as a true combination of millet and rifles. The fruit of the flower-like night-blooming jasmine is delicious. Fruits that can be enjoyed during the pandemic. It can also be used as a staple food for making a living. If you can't afford mangosteen and durian, bananas will be priced even lower than apples, conquering the threshold of tropical fruits. Eat your fill. The cost is even less than a bowl of noodles at a restaurant. Even the remaining torso. Jade can also be used to make cloth, paper, and animal feed. It's a body that can bend even in the rain. Yet it possesses the most steadfast compassion for humanity.